So 8 years ago, I was working as a business analyst. I felt, y'all, like I had a good life. We lived in Frisco, Texas. I was making more money than I had ever made because my background is in social work, case management. And so I wasn't making, if you're a case manager, a social worker, and you work in that field, but they tell you straight up, like, you're not going to make money. Right? They tell you from day one, like, if you're joining this field, don't expect to make any money. That's not the goal. That's not the point. And so at some point I was like, nah, I'm going to need to shift career. And so I became a business analyst. Loved it because it tapped into my love for business and also my love for psychology, because you had to use both. But still, I felt, y'all, like there's more to life. This cannot be it. There has to be more to life. There has to be more to me. I feel like I'm called for more. I can do more. I'm not tapping into my full potential. And at the time, I was doing conferences and retreats, but I was hiding in plain sight, right? I was hiding in plain sight. I was doing these retreats, conferences, and I didn't even say that I was I was just like, I'm an organizer. Well, baby, listen, I wasn't just an organizer. I was actually coaching people, but I didn't know. I didn't know that there was a world. I didn't know what coaching was. I didn't know people got paid to guide, ask questions, strategize with people, things that I had done my whole life since I was 8 years old, right? And it was on one of these retreats that, anyway, I didn't know. I did not know that coaching was a thing, okay? 9 years ago, I didn't know. So it was at one of those retreats that one of the retreat member that I had, not retreat member, one of the women that I had brought in to be a speaker looked at me and said, is this what you do? And it's somebody that knew me in my personal life. And she was like, is this what you do? You are a coach, like you are coaching. Like, are you kidding me? And I was like, coaching? She's like, people get paid for this. I said, excuse me, like how? And so I went on this journey of trying to figure it out on my own, poorly. Okay, I did a bunch of, like, I would go live every day in my car. I did a bunch of webinars that nobody attended. It was so embarrassing, but I did it for a year and nothing was working. And then finally I was like, you know what? Maybe I should hire a coach. Maybe I should hire a coach, which I did. And that changed my life. And when I was working with this coach, she said to me, you're going to have to niche down. And that was so challenging because I was torn between being like a life coach and a business coach. And I ended up deciding to become a business coach because I felt like, I was like, you know what? If I have to pick between helping people with their mindset and helping people make money, I choose make money because I feel like when you have more money, you have more time and space to figure out your mindset. And I figured I could help people as I'm helping them build their business, also help them with their mindset. But I couldn't help people with their mindset build a business if that's not what I wanted initially. So I hired this coach and she was incredible, and my business took off from there, and it's been 8 years. And it's been an interesting 8 years, 8 years of like so many highs. I think the first year in business I made like $400,000. I wish I knew what I know now, which is, baby, stack up your money, because business is not always going to be on the upward. It's not always going to go up, right? You're going to have down years, high years. So you want to figure out even within your business how to get to freedom. But at the time, I didn't care about that. I just cared about proving to myself that I could coach, proving to my father that like I was more than what he thought I could be, proving to myself that being pregnant at 21 and having a baby at 22 did not mean that my life was over. I was so busy proving and like working. And I loved what I did, right? So it didn't feel like working, but like nonstop going. I was trying to outrun the stories that I had told myself and believe about myself, the limiting belief. I was trying to outrun what people thought of me. And I was trying to prove so badly, guys, that I could do this, that I was smart enough, that I was good enough, that I was deserving enough. And so 8 years later, as I sit here and think through where we are, and how the business has changed and how the industry has changed, and I think about the conversations I have over and over and over again, and I think about our ads and how they're doing and all the things, the business of doing business, I'm like, I want to go back to my first love. Like, I want to go back to where it all started from. I feel that I was telling God in my prayers that I want to have enough money that I don't have to worry about having the right hook, having the right call to action, how to like get, how to, because social media and marketing is almost like a game, right? What's the most shocking thing that I can say that's going to have you stop and listen? What's the most outrageous claim I can give you that's going to make you slow down? And to be honest with you guys, like, I'm so over that. I think that is part of the reason why I walked away from social media. Like, I was like, I can't do it. I just want to do the work. But I have decided that I want to go back to where it all started. That I want to be able to share what I want to share. I want to be able to connect with my audience in a way that feels authentic to me, and then just do that, right? Because it can become this game that's exhausting, and I have no interest in doing it. So in terms of updates, I spend most of my time in the Gambia now. I homeschool my kids. I still have, I still coach. We have a few programs. We have our 90 Days to CEO program, which is our main program. We have our membership. We have all these different things. But at the end of the day, for me, the question I want to leave you with, right? The thing that I want you to think about is what happens when you decide to outgrow small, right? So I wrote a book called Outgrow Small, which is a continuation of the conversation that I had initially with how to stop hiding in plain sight. Is the second phase. When you decide to stop hiding in plain sight, which is step one, the second step for me has been, how do I outgrow playing small? Because I find that my life had become so small in terms of, like, I feel like business robbed me in some ways of my how do I explain it? I think that because business requires you, especially the way that business works in the US, requires you to niche down and be specific and have a specific brand and all those things, which is incredible. I think it can also rob you of your ability to explore and grow and show up as authentically as you want to be and can be. And so I am on my journey of reclaiming those parts of myself, and deciding to no longer be willing to play small. And yeah, so much more. I don't know who still wants to get on this journey of figuring out what's on the other side of your fear. For some people, it's starting a business. For some people, it's starting a coaching business. For some other people, it's starting a 90-day journey of discovering, what the best version of yourself might be. But that is the journey of transformation. That's the journey I'm on. That's the journey I love to take my clients on. For the people that want to become coaches, it's that journey of deciding, okay, I don't have to have everything figured out, but I know that I'm ready. But my clients, specifically in our 90 Days to CEO program, the question is, how do we take that expertise, that experience that you already have, and turn it into something that you can sell to the marketplace? So that's the journey most of my clients are on. But I also have clients that are working a 9 to 5 and are trying to figure out what's my next step, like within the corporate ladder. How do I grow? How do I expand? And all that kind of stuff.